What is the impact of a single moment on a life? How do our choices reveal our character? The play Macbeth is about a Scottish general named Macbeth who is told by three witches that he will become king. After hearing this, he becomes overcome with ambition, which guides him through committing many murders and doing everything in his power to make his fate true. In the play Macbeth by Shakespeare, it is revealed that a single moment in your life can change your mentality and the actions you make. This is exemplified in the beginning of the play when Macbeth is greeted by three witches who tell him that he will someday become king. The three witches announced, "All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter." When Macbeth hears this, he becomes curious and continuously questions the witches. He gets a strong desire and eagerness to take the throne. This impacts his life because he does everything in his power to make sure that he becomes king, even if they don't follow his character. After this moment, Macbeth's ambition begins to grow and evil ideas creep into his head. The thoughts that go through his head and his questioning of the witches reveals his immoral thinking and determination. The moment that Macbeth actually kills King Duncan illustrates that one moment can change your mentality. At first, Macbeth does not want to kill the king. However, once Lady Macbeth explains her plan to him, he agrees to it. After he goes to kill the king, he comes back to his wife and says to her, "I have done the deed. Did thou not hear a noise?" This single moment changes Macbeth's whole life and his character. After he kills the king, he has attained the object of his ambition. This causes Macbeth's character to undergo a change. He is no longer the cautious and hesitating plotter, but becomes bolder and more energetic in his scheming. He now takes to bloodshed readily. Lady Macbeth's taunts are not required now to encourage him. His betrayal towards the king throws Macbeth into a state of guilt and fear. This prompts him to murder again and again to satisfy his paranoia. By the end of the play, he has become an evil tyrant. After Macbeth hears about his future from the witches, he sends his wife, Lady Macbeth, a letter to inform her. Lady Macbeth reads the letter about his prophecy to become king and becomes obsessed with making it true, and yells out, "Come, you spirits that tend on moral thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe-top full of direst cruelty." From the moment that Lady Macbeth learns about her husband's prophecy, her whole character changes. She becomes absorbed with the idea of him becoming king and is willing to do anything to make it happen. Her response to the letter illustrates her ambitious nature and wicked influence. Her reaction also reveals that she defies the stereotypical gender roles for a woman during this time. Women were expected to be nurturers and caretakers. Lady Macbeth encompasses a man's role by expressing her boldness and persuasive actions. The impact of a single moment on a life is also relevant in the novel 102 Minutes. This novel is about the attack of the World Trade Center on 9/11. This novel illustrates that one single moment in your life and one decision you make can change the outcome of an event. This is revealed when Brian Clark decides to save Stanley Primnath. Primnath was stuck in the office after a plane crashed into the South Tower on 9/11. Clark heard him and turned to DeFrancisco, put a hand on his shoulder. "Come on, Ron," Clark said. "We got to get this guy." His decision to abandon the group that he was with and trust his instincts impacted his life. If Clark had not trusted his instincts and followed the cries for help that he heard, he would have been trapped on the upper floors with his colleagues. Brian Clark was able to escape the burning South Tower. His actions to try and save the man who was crying for help reflects that he is considerate and helpful. The moment when two planes crashed into the North and South Towers of the World Trade Center on 9/11 impacted millions of lives. The novel stated, "The time was 9:02:59 a.m. and United Airlines Flight 175 now plunged through the South Tower of the World Trade Center, including the room where Stanley Primnath had jumped beneath his desk." The moment that the plane hit the building, many people, including Stanley Primnath, became trapped inside the building. They had to fight for their survival and use skills that they never knew they had. This single moment changed everyone's lives that were in the building. Some people chose to continuously help others around them and put others' needs before theirs. These people's actions revealed that they were very courageous and selfless. Other people didn't directly help others but fought for themselves, which also revealed their bravery. The impact of a single moment was also exemplified when Frank DeMartini decided to continue to return to the building and save other people. After the plane hit, he led the rattled, the shocked, and the frightened toward an office in the southwest corner, the farthest point from the impact. He risked his life saving all of the people that he possibly could. His decision that he made at that moment to continue back into the building and not just evacuate for himself changed everything. It altered the outcome for all of the people who he helped escape the building. His decision also changed the outcome for himself. He ended up dying when the North Tower collapsed. His actions revealed that he was selfless and always thought about others before himself. The impact of a single moment is also illustrated in the supplemental text Little Old Letter by Langston Hughes. In the poem, a man receives a letter in the mail that makes him want to take his own life. This poem explores the power of words and their impact. After a man receives this letter, he states, "A little old letter can take a person's life." When the man received this letter in the mail, it had a huge impact on his life. The single moment of receiving the letter made his feelings change. He became overcome with loneliness and grief. The single moment caused the man to want to end his own life. That letter had such an impactful event on the man's life and completely changed it. The man's emotions were also changed after he got this letter. He stated that, "I never felt so lonesome." When the man received the letter, it put him into isolation. The letter was the reason that the man felt so alone. While the author never expresses the contents of the letter, he expresses the essence of its content through emotion. The single moment when the man received the letter led to him revealing his changed character and feelings. He transitions from his habitual routine into sorrow and despair. The single moment that the man received the letter, he said, "It made me turn right pale." The author's use of imagery helps the reader understand the feelings of the man. The man was overpowered by what he read on the letter and became consumed with sadness. The moment that he received this letter completely changed his character and feelings. On May 25, 2018, a 13-year-old student opened-fired on his classmates at Noblesville West Middle School in Noblesville, Indiana. He shot a 13-year-old student and a teacher. This moment had a huge impact on all of the families who attended this school and live in this community. Many parents have come together to make a change. A Fox 59 article written by Haley Bull regarding these parents stated, "Their motivation to make a difference is strong. It's why they formed the group Noblesville Stands Together." This group that the parents created would have never happened if there had not been a shooting. The moment that that shooting happened changed their whole lives. These parents now fight for what they believe in and have a strong voice in their community. The act of creating this group in a time of despair reveals that they are very passionate and dedicated to making a change. The group Noblesville Stands Together has focused on key issues regarding the shooting and have become strong advocates for changing state policies. The article stated, "Now they're reaching out to state lawmakers." The shooting that happened at their middle school has impacted them and allowed them to strive for change. They are doing everything in their power that they can to make sure that there is a change. Their actions that they are taking strongly reveal these parents' characters. They are all passionate and empowered with their ideas. One parent who is a member of this group stated, "It motivates us to keep moving forward and getting the message out that we can do something. We're not powerless." The shooting at Noblesville Middle School empowered these parents. Before the shooting, some of these people would have never imagined that they could be so powerful and make a difference. After the shooting, many of the parents saw a change in their character and became more impassioned and opinionated. They all want their voices to be heard and don't want to go unrecognized. Both Macbeth and 102 Minutes, along with the poem Little Old Letter and the shooting that occurred at Noblesville West Middle School, helped answer the question and illustrate that one small moment in your life can change everything. How a person reacts to that moment reveals their personality and characteristics.